Hello, this is Nicole Johnson-Starr with the PTSD Retreat. How are you guys today? Today we are sitting with Barbara Altman again. Hello, Barbara.
Good afternoon.
Hello, hello. How are you today?
I'm fine.
I am so glad to be doing this again with you because I had so much fun last week. So I'm really looking forward to today's discussion. Now, today we're going to be talking about depression. And if I recall, 19 million Americans are suffering from depression, especially women.
That's true.
Okay.
And I think that the statistics are 1 out of every 4 Americans, which probably places that at a higher number. And 1 out of 10 Americans suffer from psychotic events. But since we're talking about depression, we'll stay with talking about depression.
Yeah. Now, is it possible, I know that when it comes to women, we tend to talk a little bit more than men. Is it possible that even that statistic could be off? I mean, how many men are coming forward?
Okay, before I comment on that, I want to correct what I just said. 1 out of 100 Americans suffers from psychosis. So that being corrected, I think I have read someplace, and I don't know exactly where I got this information, but men might be a little bit less reluctant to discuss this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just my opinion. It may be because it manifests differently in men than it does in women. Women, it manifests in kind of a down mood. In men, it may manifest as in a different way. So they may not recognize it as depression.
Yeah, so down mood, like we slow down, we're not as talkative, more tired.
Men may become agitated.
Okay. So it can look a whole bunch of different ways.
Yes.
Now, and when you're talking with PTSD, depression is a very prevalent symptom that affects most individuals with PTSD. So what do you recommend when it comes to depression for dealing with it?
Well, first of all, there's a medical route.
Okay.
I would call that the more traditional route. I would say, just aside from the medical or the physiological approaches, I think for me the biggest help has been in just connecting myself with people, joining groups, becoming involved, because no one of us has all the answers to life's problems, and so if you're connected, then when something comes up that is perplexing or frustrating or compromising to your well-being, then it always helps to have somebody there to get a different opinion.
Mm-hmm. So that actually works for other areas when dealing, one of the things with depression, isolating themselves, avoiding things. Getting out is so huge. I have a wonderful friend that I just recently made, and I feel like she's my sister. Her name, we'll just call her Jane Doe, because we're on the air, and I don't want her to come back and kick my butt because she can do it. But Jane is this marvelous personality, but when she gets depressed, she just shrinks in on herself.
I think that's, I don't know that I have access to the latest research, but I think that is a tendency that many women tend to do, to just kind of withdraw, isolate. And then that creates more depression.
It's a vicious
downward
cycle.
spiral from that point on.
Wow. So of course, now folks, Barbara and here and I are just talking, you know that she's an author, she's written before, and we've talked about in the last episode, and you can go back to the other episode to hear about her books. But no matter what you decide to do to deal with your depression, always talk to your doctor. Always talk to your counselor about whatever you're choosing to do, any changes. Please remember these are just for information, so you can know that there's other possibilities out there. We are not telling you, yes, you must change your life. No, we're being very open about there's just other opportunities out there for you, and we want you to be aware of those. Okay? So that said, now that my legal butt is now covered, we'll go ahead and continue. Because there's all sorts of things. Like she's saying, women, we tend to just, separate. And my friends call it, whenever I feel like I'm having a bad day, they call it that I've dropped off the planet. and that really is a sign of a beginning sign of depression, that falling off the planet with our friends and loved ones.
Yes.
So, what have you...
desire to withdraw.
What have you found, there's getting out, what about for those of that don't feel they're ready yet to, like for those who are dealing with severe PTSD, going out, so to speak, is not exactly the easiest step for them. What about something that they can do at home? What would you recommend? What have you done in the past?
Oh, let's see. For people who are sequestered in their homes due to agoraphobia, this is what I've done in the past. Because I did not have that issue to the point where I couldn't step outside of the house, but I have known people who do have that. But I've had anxieties and fears in other situations, and I would suggest putting the phone someplace else for one.
Don't you love that? It's right in the middle. Do you want us to take a break?
I would suggest, okay, hold on just a second here. Okay, that won't be so loud. I would suggest taking these fears and tackling them in tiny increments. So, for example, if someone is afraid, is agoraphobic to the point of not being able to get out of the house, just going outside of the house for a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes a day. And then, the brain can actually retrain itself with regard to that. So every time you do something, every time you step outside of the box, in no matter what manner, it creates a positive brain impact. So that it's possible to do more and more and more stepping out. I guess if you are sequestered in your home, be having people come over or call people on the phone. Especially call people if there's a problem that comes up and something that you don't feel like taking care of yourself. Just find that connection. There are things that can be done from the inner sanctum of the home as well.
Okay. What would you like? What I've told people, I've had so much fun, talking to people who just refuse to go outside their home, and they have a good reason. I've told them to grow a garden inside.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea.
One of the things I do is I tell them, like for the individuals who are dealing with PTSD, is a PTSD garden. There are flowers that bloom at night. Moon glories. Have you heard of those? They smell so sweet. They bloom at night. They don't bloom during the day. So for individuals that are up late at night, most flowers go to sleep. These ones are opening at night. And so they have this wonderful smell that, goes throughout their home in the night. So if they happen to wake up, they see something of beauty. And also on top of that, there's other, them planting morning glories, of course, which are open during the day. So if they're, functioning throughout their day, they can actually look at something beautiful. And then, growing vegetables and different things that they have, something they can actually work with every day, weeding and tending to it. And then in the springtime, plant it outside. They can plant it in pots right on their deck. So they're stepping outside their door and just going onto the deck. And then they can move it from a pot into, a box garden right outside their porch area.
And that's very self-esteem building as well, because it's something that you have created.
Yes, exactly. And not only that, they get to see those fruits, enjoy them and eat them and, enjoy the wonderful smells.
The other thing that comes to my mind is getting a pet.
Okay.
Because pets can be provide so much companionship.
It's funny, I actually just finished, there's an episode, folks, if you'd like to look at it, with Dr. Cam Ritchie. She's the Chief Clinical Director for DC Government, and we talked about service pets for those with PTSD. Pets really do serve a wonderful capacity. As a matter of fact, I have my bear is actually laying down right next to me. Thank God he's not snoring right now, but he is sleeping. And he's
Your what?
My bear. He's half lab, half Newfoundland.
Oh, okay.
And his head is as big as a bear's. I don't know if you've ever seen the YouTube. It's not YouTube. I think it is YouTube. This guy his dog died. He was a Newfoundland. And he took the skin of his dog and put a bear skull inside it. And it looked just like his dog in real life, but it was a real grizzly bear's skull. It's kind of disturbing to think about it, but when you discuss it, but my dog Bear, his head looks like a bear. So he's...
If you can hold on for a second, I can go grab one of mine.
I would love to see your dog. Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah. While she's going and getting her dog, I love her home, by the way. While she's going to get her dog, I love having my bear. When I can't talk to somebody, I've got Bear there. And when I need some vigorous activity, I have Baby. Yes, it's Muddy Paws Baby Bear Star Johnson. My daughter named him. Named her, excuse me. We call her Baby for short. And, Baby, she's my licking, crazy, totally, oh my god.
Okay, this is my little cat, Oreo.
Oh my gosh, I love your cat.
Hello.
Cats are also wonderful as pets. You guys were hearing me talk about Baby and Bear, but cats are lovely because they can just curl up with you. They also tell you when you're full of crap, and they give you their attitude back. I just put a picture on the PTSD webpage today, the Facebook page today, that says, I've lived with Zen masters all of my life, and all of them are cats. So, cats are so amazing.
I actually have another one, but she's too big for me to grab and bring in here.
Wow. She's so pretty. She was totally like a baby, totally curled up in your arms.
Uh-huh. So what other suggestions do you have for people who are housebound?
Cooking.
That's great. That's something I need to learn how to do.
It's not hard. My daughter, she's 11, but she started making soups from, fresh vegetables when she was younger. And she would just take anything and throw it in a pot. That was one of the things about soups. They're really forgiving. She would just take, all the vegetables we had in our fridge and just throw it in the pot. Now, I always start with butter and sauteing onions. I think that's a great way to start. Because, one, onions make you cry.
So if you're feeling depressed, you can use onions.
Just let some relief out, just cry over your onions.
Feelings out.
And then you have an excuse as well.
Pretty far.
Throwing in vegetables and water. Just throw enough water for the vegetables to float. And then smell your spices. If you don't have spices, just go get a spice rack. And just smell them and see, that smells good. Throw it in there. Now, don't dump the whole bottle, but do a pinch at a time, But make a nice comfort food, soup. And share that. There's always all these other people. If you're having troubles reaching out to people, find somebody that you feel needs someone. Just needs a smile, needs a hug, needs something, and do something for them to make them feel better.
And see, that's uplifting. I think that there's been research shown that establishes that when you do help someone, that it creates a bond there that alleviates a low mood.
Oh, definitely.
It raises your energy.
They're actually using that with veterans. I just actually recently posted an article about how veterans talking to other veterans about their trauma is actually reducing the symptoms of PTSD.
Oh, I think that is so true.
Yeah, and in the UK, they're actually trying that with having just regular people. Nobody who's a psychologist or doctor, not even soldiers. They're just training individuals about PTSD and then having them go listen.
One of the things that I think may be common with us, and again, I'm not sure that this is across the board, but there can be a tendency to think that that